No, 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 no. Ah, man, a recency bias, baby. That's all it is, right? That's all it is. It's the recency bias. Today, we are talking about the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be glazing Edmonton in this one, like we had been in some of the prior few videos here on this YouTube channel. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, the idea of Florida winning 2 in a row, so I'm going all team Connor McDavid on you, baby. But either way, all Stanley Cup Final talk aside, Game 2, by the way, coming on later tonight. We will make a post-game video to that once it happens. In this video, I wanted to dive into a thought that was talked about on TSN Overdrive yesterday, because a lot of folks were bringing this up. A lot of folks were diving into what was said by Jeff O'Neill on TSN. Take a look at this video. It will be posted on the description. It was posted by Mr. Good Sir 87 on the Edmonton Oilers subreddit, and the title gives away pretty much all you need to know. I'm gonna actually download this video, transcribe it using the AI machine, and then post the commentary made by Jeff O'Neill on the screen for all of y'all fine people to read. O-Dog says on the broadcast, a bit of a crazy statement after watching last night's Game 1 and watching throughout the playoffs. Noodle says, uh-oh, what do you got? And before the playoffs, Jeff O'Neill says, you would have punched me as hard as you could. I think the pecking order on D in the National Hockey League is 1, Cale Makar, and 2, Bouchard. Over Quinn Hughes, Brian Hayes replies. You take Evan Bouchard? Like, the way he's playing right now, maybe it's recency bias because all those other guys aren't playing, but I think he's that good, man. He is unbelievable, Jeff O'Neill replied. Brian Hayes then says, he's been phenomenal, but I'm obviously taking Quinn Hughes over Evan Bouchard, and I think you would too. Okay, but let me just tell you this, if there was a little hut, an elite defenseman hut, and Quinn Hughes was in it, and Cale Makar, and they opened up the door and said, Evan, come on in here. You think he's number 3? To which even Noodles replies saying, yeah, I think he could sit in there. I'd put him in the hut. They would open the door and say, you're a member now. Come and have a coffee. And, interesting levels of conversation here to go out there and suggest that Quinn Hughes has been overtaken. But you know what? I wanted to dive into that a little bit, because it is true that the Edmonton Oilers have been getting some of the best defending in the world out of Evan Bouchard. Maybe not, okay, not defending, but play from a player who happens to play defense out of Bouchard. They even talk about it on the clip here, but there is a pretty in-depth conversation about how, hey, yeah, Bouchard's playing well, but you have to think about it. Like, would you say the same thing about November Bouchard? Jeff O'Neill continues to talk about this hut thing. I'll tell you, if it's a 3-man hut and you can only shove 3 D-men in there, I think Bouchard is the third one with Hughes and Makar. But then Noodle says, well, Bouchard, playoff Bouchard. That's the thing. If it's November Bouchard, like, you didn't have that comment when he came around net in Toronto when they were up, and he rifled it off McDavid's ass and onto somebody's tape. It went right on to Tavares, and that shot went into net. Like, it was Bouchard coming around. Edmonton was in pretty good shape in that game. I think it was 3-1 they were up or something. Bouchard comes around the net and rips it off McDavid's behind, and I think after that, Toronto caught up and Marner won it in overtime. But it was, I think, playoff Bouchard that you were referring to. That's different. Brian Hayes then says, yeah, that's the most important one. The most valuable one. And this is where the conversation gets a little bit nuanced, because it is true that Evan Bouchard, out of all the playoff performers we have seen over the past few years, the Conn Smythe winning Cale Makar performance in 2022, I think that comes to a lot of people's minds when they think about D-man dominance. He had 29 points in 20 games that year in the postseason. Evan Bouchard had 32 points in 25 games last year. This year, he is slightly above a point per game, which is ridiculous because it's actually the worst production he has had in the playoffs, spanning back the past 2 seasons. 17 points in 12, 32 points in 25, 18 and 17. Those previous 2 years had better point production from Bouchard. And that is ridiculous when you just look at the level of play he has displayed here in these playoffs, especially going back to pretty much the opening game of the entire playoffs. He had 3 assists in that game. Evan Bouchard, for as good as he is, I'm not going to go out there and suggest that he is better than Quinn Hughes, though, which is the entire thought process that Jeff O'Neill was entertaining before Brian Hayes went out there and disagreed with him on the show. And for what it's worth, Oilers fans are being a little bit more rational about this than I would have expected because, as we had said, this entire video clip of the TSN guys talking about Bouchard and Hughes was posted onto the Oilers sub, and the top comment says, "Yeah, I can't wait for these hacks who come up with hot takes based on whoever they watched the most recently to leave Bouchard off their Olympic rosters in 6 months. That being said, if you don't have Hughes and Makar neck and neck 1 and 2, then I don't know what you're watching. Bouchard is right up there, though, somewhere between 3 and 5 for me, probably. His playstyle is extremely complementary to McDavid, maybe the best possible you could have to maximize what you get from 97. Then there are a bunch of other replies. Quite frankly, it's Makar and Hughes at 1 and 2, then 3 to 5 is any of Bouchard, Josi, and Werenski. That's a hot take, I like it. Zach Werenski was fantastic this year. It'll take a while for him to fully encapsulate a label of being in the top 3. I think Hughes, Makar, and for a while Adam Fox were the only guys that were in that sort of conversation. Josi too, but I think it was a little bit more up and down for him. But with that being said, I think for most NHL fans, it is Makar, it is Hughes. These guys are the bona fide 1s and 2s or 2s and 1s. I do think that Quinn is maybe a little bit better than Cale, but that's just because I'm a biased Canucks fan, and I do think that if Quinn was a lot healthier and played the full season, he would have had better numbers. He might have been able to win the Norris again. It's ridiculous because, like, for Canucks fans, they'd say that, yeah, Quinn Hughes won the Norris in 2023, 2024, but he actually played better in 24-25. It's just he didn't have the sample size nor the winning team to be able to fully get the confidence of voters to win the award of Norris second year in a row. Cale Makar is the easy, safe default answer because he obviously is fantastic. Zach Werenski, I think, is the hot take. I would actually probably vote for Werenski if we're going off of just guys who exploded with 0 expectations. Okay, not to say that Werenski had no expectations, but he absolutely blew whatever expectations he had out of the water. That guy was incredible. Quinn Hughes did too, it's just he didn't play enough of the season, I feel, to fully run away with the victory here. Evan Bouchard should be in that conversation. Although it is noteworthy that his production did decline from last year to this year too, which I think invalidates any sort of voting that would have gone for him, which is why he wasn't one of the finalists for the Norris Trophy this season. Conn Smythe, though, yeah, he's not winning that. That's going to go to Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl. It's going to go to Dry if they do win. And don't count out Stuart Skinner if he ends up posting a few other shutouts in this playoff run. But ultimately, Evan Bouchard over Quinn Hughes. Is that a conversation that is worth having at this point? Most Oilers fans are going out there in the comments of that Reddit post and saying no. What are they talking about? Is he better than Hughes? Nah. But I digress. It was talked about on TSN Overdrive programming and radio, which is why I wanted to dive into it here in a video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Edmonton Oilers and Vancouver Canucks, about the Bouchard and Hughes conversation. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.